I want to do a video on fear and specifically worry. And I suppose as far back as I can remember, I've always been a chronic worrier. I remember being a kid, lying in bed, looking up at the ceiling, and just my mind racing around a million miles an hour, finding problems, projecting horrible futures. And it was a massive problem all my life, right up into adult life. And it's only probably in the last 4 to 5 years that I managed to get a much better handle over it. And for me, the way I got a handle over it, and there was a ton of different techniques and tools that are available to you. You can do CBT, which is a great way of challenging your thoughts. I've often recommended Dale Carnegie's book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and he has great advice there in terms of blocking off your day so you only live in 24-hour units, and designating worry time so at least you allow yourself to worry for maybe 30 minutes and no more than that. And they're all very useful, and they're just different ways of objectively looking at what's happening in your mind. But for me, it came down to two things. Number one, I had to look at the context of my worry. And I found that in a lot of cases, my biggest fears were the negative opinions of other people. And I've correlated that back with my clients and just lots of people who I speak. And I think worry is everywhere. Everybody worries. It is a distinctly human trait. And there's nothing wrong with someone who worries. But I noticed that I was worried about what other people thought all the time. And then I started to question, well, why am I showing so much respect to all these people? And that's a trait of people who are excessively fearful. They also have excess respect for other people. And again, this is something I've started doing with my clients, and I started to question why they need to have so much respect for other people. And they do start to challenge these thoughts and decide to themselves, well, I'm going to stop worrying about what this person thinks because I don't even know them that well. They may not be the same type of character as you. They may not deserve the respect that they're giving all the time. And that's one part of it. But the second one was actually observing my mind in operation. And again, there's all different tools where you can challenge it and engage with it, and they can be useful for some people, but I find sometimes they're actually reinforcing the worry pattern. For me, I noticed, especially when I started to meditate, and I started to be much more conscious of what's happening inside myself and inside my mind, I kind of created a separation between me and who I am and my mind, like it was a separate entity. And I could notice, I could see it off, it's going again, and picking problems and projecting futures. And it takes a huge amount of willpower and just awareness inside yourself to even observe that. But when you do observe it, you may notice that there I go again. You might tell yourself, all right, I'm off, I'm worrying, and you just let it go. Then you let it go quicker because you don't fuel it, you're not engaging with those thoughts. And what the biggest reason for this is, I've mentioned neuroplasticity before, and this is a term that's bandied around a lot now. It's actually a fascinating concept. But the idea is that our brain is constantly growing, no matter if you're 8 years of age or 80 years of age, as long as you're thinking and reading and engaging with people. But worrying is a thought process, and when you constantly worry, it uses specific neural pathways. But if you engage with those thoughts, you're actually strengthening those pathways and reinforcing the belief. But if you learn to disengage and not fuel them, it weakens those pathways, and you may actually strengthen the other ones, with more associated with being relaxed and being calm and observing yourself and enjoying the current experience. So the term is self-referencing. So you're constantly referencing life in terms of where you are now, not in what's happening outside of you. And it may help you catch your worries and let them go quicker. It does take a lot of awareness, I keep saying this, and it's a very difficult thing to change. And I have a lot of clients who come in, and almost all of my clients are worriers, and it's a chronic problem. It's everywhere, and they often say to me, "I wish I didn't worry, and I'd love it if I didn't worry." And the first thing I always do is I meditate with my clients, and I introduce meditation into their daily lives, and because I know that I can tell them to not worry in the same way that I always had people in my life saying to me, "Carl, you don't need to worry." And the quote I used to hear all the time was, "Worrying is praying for something that you don't want," and I got no reassurance from that. And one thing as well is that you actually become codependent. You keep looking for external factors to give you peace of mind, when in reality peace of mind comes from inside of you. But it can be frustrating for people, and it's a little frustrating for me as well when I give my clients techniques and tools to deal with their worry, but they keep coming back in and say, "Oh, I'm still worried." And I said, "Well, you're not doing the work." And the work is stepping back and just being observing what's happening inside of you. And we often use the term the witness, and so you're witnessing yourself and your own mind running away with itself, and it's observing, there I go, I'm worrying again, not labeling it, not saying it's a bad thing, maybe looking for a little bit of context and what is it that I'm worried about this? Am I worried about something that has happened in the past or something that's happened in the future? But then deciding that no, and letting it go and just keeping your attention to what you're doing now, whether it's work, whether it's watching TV, whether it's having a conversation with your partner. And that's the only thing, you may have to disengage from a conversation just for a couple of seconds to catch yourself and then bring it back. And it does take discipline and willpower, but it works. And I'm proof of that, because even though my mind still wants to worry, I don't worry nearly as much as I used to. It used to be so bad. It was ridiculous, really. And I look back now and I can see it was ridiculous. But I have to go through all of this to be able to look back and say, I can see all the crazy stuff I used to worry about. And I used to write it all down, but none of it came true, because here I am now recording this video. And that's true for you. I guarantee you half the things that you're worried about, they're probably never going to happen. And the other half that you do worry about, you will deal with them as they come. You can't deal with them before they come. So that's it, guys. Practice awareness, meditation, being conscious of your mind, and notice your mind going away with itself, and make peace with that. Accept that that's just what it is to be human, and then let those thoughts go. And they may go a lot quicker. You may straighten your own mind and become a lot less codependent on other people. Right, that's it. I'm heading off. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye bye.